Hello and welcome to the 2024 Franconia Open presented by Latitude 64. We are watching the third and final round of the FPO coverage on the channel here of DreamFlight. I'm Christian and here today are two lovely women with me. The first one, freshly flown in from Canada, is Annika.
Hello, it's good to be here.
And the second one is Simone.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So first off, we have leading the pack, Finja. She comes from Dortmund and is part of the Disc Golf Friends Club there. She has a strong arm and can throw over 100 meters and has won the German Nationals Big Arm competition.
Currently in second is Nathali from Scheibensucher Rüsselsheim. She's been in Gößweinstein for quite some tournaments, so you can call him almost a local.
In third place, we have Sophie. She's out of Disc Golf München and she's been a player since 2022, part of the PDAGA. And she has a very strong ultimate game. She's come from a long time of ultimate frisbee, so you can see that in her throw.
Yeah, and rounding out the card is Chrissy. She's a local from the Heiser crew, also assistant tournament director. Yeah, she's won here before and her strength is her precision in the long drives. Let's start with a feast. Hole 1, we start directly with one of the hardest holes. For the girls, it's a par 578 meters. It's a combination of two standard holes, and I think the real meat of the bone starts here, when you have to get up the hill and don't fade left or right.
So first we see Finja on the tee. You see it was a quite foggy day. We were quite surprised when we arrived to the course this morning.
Yes, it was a beautiful fog, but difficult to see where the disc was going to land. So as you can tell, Finja throws her first shot, and from where the tee is, you couldn't really tell where it landed, but it was a good position.
Yeah, so for the first throw, it's relatively easy. You don't have to do very much because the second throw, the approach to the mouth of the slope, is the more important one. So you can almost like relax on the first one.
There's only a bit of danger. There is like one area on the left where there is a Funkmast, which is actually a beam but shouldn't come into play for the women.
Yeah, for the first throw that shouldn't come into play. You want to just get the distance out there and have a good position to be able to throw your second shot, then from there to get it up the hill to where the basket is.
Yeah, we see Chrissy with her trusty Sapphire almost parking the normal standard basket.
In the background we also see Enzo, the tournament director, in the orange vest.
Nathali, it looks like she got a little bit too far to the right, so maybe her approach angle could be a little bit cut off.
Yeah. So for me, when I was playing this hole, my goal on the second shot was to get it near the bottom of the hill so that I had a good position to get back up to the basket. We'll see if that's what these players are going to do as well.
Fantastic, that looks super nice, parked.
Absolutely dream position.
Yes, that's a great position to be. Yeah, that's perfect. Here we see Finja. She had, it seemed like a straight shot to the position where Chrissy got. And a little bit of trouble there to the left, but
It should be fine.
yeah.
Yeah, rather left than right on this hill. At least at the entrance of the slope.
See if Sophie follows suit. Also a little bit too long, but I guess she will still have something to scramble.
Oh yeah, Chris, you're right. Nathali is far to right, so her second shot will be very challenging. Or yeah, she just chips out.
The smart way, just chip out and take the medicine. Yeah, Sophie can directly use her ultimate abilities and lean something out, I guess. Yes.
And you need to be careful as well with this shot, because if you go too far or too much to the left, you can find yourself below the basket and you'll have a really tough time getting back to the basket. So she executed that well, and here we'll see how Nathali will do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't see it on the camera, but directly on the left side of the path there's like a little cliff, and also like I call them devil's fingers. There's like really many small trees that don't move out of the way for your disc.
Oh, it looks like Finja caught some branches on the left, and then maybe not the shot she wanted or the position she wanted to end up.
Chrissy a bit inside, but that's the miss to make, because if you're left, you're very likely adding a stroke.
Yes.
Just within the circle. So
very nice putt from Finja.
And again, this is a par 5, so if your shots go well, I mean, it's quite attainable to get it in 5, and one would hope to get it in 4, but yeah, it can be tricky with making the distance right, and if you do get in behind the cliff, then it's really tough. So, but I think it was a good par 5 that they decided to make it a par 5.
I think also very fair for the first hole.
Yes.
Aww.
I think this is like a scheme we will see more often, that the holes are quite, you can reach it with good shots, but par is always fair, but birdie is the, you need to do something for it.
Yes.
Good putt, cleaning up the par. Chrissy also with the par. And Nathali with the turbo putt to the bogey.
And also Finja cleans up, and yeah, we're ready for the next hole. So we see here hole 2, one of the shorter holes. You can either throw a forehand to this landing zone that is marked with this little red pin that we can see here, or a little turnover shot. I think pool B, like most of them, played for par, half of them, and yeah, there's a B on the left side, also behind the basket. Let's see how the women tackled the hole.
Finja keeps the box, and she's going to start with a forehand, which is the play if you have the forehand, because I think it's a difficult turnover shot. It can be done, but she places it there really well.
Yeah, so you basically have to make the landing zone, because if you're like 1 meter short of basket height, you are still facing this green hell on the right side, I would say.
Yes, all the trees and bushes are in the way. You want to really get it in that little landing zone.
Chrissy
just like that.
Perfect shot. Nathali also with the backhand. But a bit too tight. Let's see if she could go through the rough. You might have a chance to see the basket from there.
Yeah, that is the difficulty with the backhand, but you saw that others executed well with that, but she got out of that well and is in a good position, I think, to get a par, or to at least, to get a putt.
Ooh. So Sophie was short on her first throw, and then unfortunately her approach went OB.
Nathali to save the par from the rough.
Nice.
Great putt.
Great putt and a great line right there through some of those trees. She had a good gap, but still, what a putt.
I think Finja for the birdie putt. Ooh. Ooh, that also looked quite close to the B line.
Yes. But we have seen nothing light up, so hopefully she's safe.
Wow!
Oh.
Good basket.
The bogey.
So Chrissy also lining up her birdie putt. Yes, and gets the lone birdie.
Great birdie. Wow.
With the turnover shot.
Yes, that was fantastic.
I think that was the only birdie on the hole.
Yeah.
No, we had 7% birdies on this hole and 50% pars for the women.
Okay, next we have hole 3, which is 215 meters. It's a par 4, and it's called the Cloverfield. So you can see here it turns to the right and the basket is here. So it's a longer hole. It's pretty fun, but you have to be careful for the OB on both sides. Yeah, in a headwind, you really don't want the disc to turn over and go into the trees, because that's OB, and plus a difficult scramble out of there. So we'll see how Christy throws this one. You can just throw straight, maybe a overstable disc to get it straight out into the fairway. But yeah, just being careful of headwinds and going OB left or right. But that was a great shot by Christy.
Yes, tackling the right side is always like a bit precarious, because you can easily turn into the woods on the right. But you can also as easily skip out on the left side with something overstable if you get it out a bit early. So Finja with her monster distance rips it as far as I can throw it. You see Tom on the camera has to move a bit. Also, this was the most popular hole of Pool B.
It's also a very fun hole. I really, really like it. Oh no, we see Nathali flirting with the OB on the right, but she's safe and very lucky about it.
It's also a very beautiful hole with the view from the tee.
Sophie with the lawnmower line keeps it low, but can't fade in any or turn in any direction. Great throws from the girls.
Yeah, from this position, you want to, it's tricky because you don't want to go into the OB where you just saw her go, but you also don't want to have it fade so hard that it goes OB long and to the left. So yeah, you want to really work with a good distance here and practicing the hole beforehand comes in handy with this one, knowing what distance you want to throw so you don't go OB.
But for me, it just looked like Nathali flirted with the OB again.
Yeah, a little bit, yes. I agree.
Living on the edge.
But in general, you also want to do it like Chrissy, like keeping it tight on the right side, just to have less distance. Because if you fade to the left side, you add like 50 more meters in the end, or like one throw.
And I think the flight was very lucky. There's almost no wind, as we see on the wind indicator.
Yes, this is typically one of the most windy holes, because there's nothing in the valley stopping the wind from coming up. And in most of the tournaments I played, it was like very windy, and you really had to be careful.
Seems Nathali is still safe by length of a disc.
Good forehand approach.
Really nice.
Comes the next forehand. The ultimate skills for kind of throw-in try, I guess.
Great shot.
It looks like Finja is outside circle 1. Or maybe it was inside. Good run.
Yeah.
I think just inside, yeah. Oh no. Oh.
Nathali, riding the OB line into the basket, gives the basket a little tap.
Still finishes with a par though.
Yes, that's great. Could have easily been a double bogey. Chrissy also with a good putt.
Yeah, by now the fog basically lifted and the sun was coming out. I think the ground was still a little bit wet, so you see them drying off their discs, but nice that the fog was gone by now. Okay, bogey.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see some of the landscape of the beautiful Gößweinstein. It's always worth a visit.
Yeah, and we come to hole 4, 76 meters, par 3. It's called the Pine Tree Hole. You have a very specific line. Mostly, I think a forehand is the preferred option, but you need to be careful because landing the disc is very hard and rollaways are very frequent, I would say.
Yes, yes.
So Chrissy normally doesn't play forehand. It was her first tournament really throwing forehands. But
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah.
yes.
You should do it more often.
Yeah, on this hole you want to get it out there into the fairway and not have it roll. So yeah, if it gets past those trees there at the beginning and the spotter gives a good sign, people usually feel good.
Because this is always a hole where when you can see that the spotter is like looking at the disc for a little bit too long.
Yes, then you get worried.
Nathali with the backhand. You have to be careful on the left side. The path is OB.
But you say
stops in time. You can see the white OB stake there.
Sophie also with the forehand. Ooh, the disc. Yeah,
Good
behaves very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
majestic.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Wow.
I did so many nice pictures of the players in my flight with the light and the fog and yeah. Yeah, disc sits, nice.
There's also a chance for discs to roll when making your upshot, but I think everyone is at a good position here.
Wow!
Wow, and birdie. Okay, great putt from Finja there. She has a great straddle putt. Wow. Power and accurate. Bit of a scary putt here, but she makes it.
Also
for a
birdie.
birdie.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 birdies and hopefully 2 pars. Very good scores on this
Yeah,
hole.
quite over the expectation, as we had 7% birdies here for the girls in the FPO field. So 2 birdies in 1 card is like solid performance.
Yes, that's really good.
Connor also seems very happy in the background. So let's come to hole 5. It's a 150 meter par 4, and as you see on many holes on the course, there is OB all around. The green is a bit difficult. I saw a lot of rollaways in my flight in the 3 rounds, but let's see how the women tackle the hole. So the hole has an adjusted tee position for the FPO field. So they don't play from this little wooden hole, but a bit further into the hole.
Yeah, so the difficulty of the whole hole is that it's leaning left side all the way and super steep at the end where the basket is on the green. So it's extremely difficult to approach the green with the correct angle without the disc getting up and rolling away, or shooting it directly into the OB.
Yeah. You have to be careful with the OB on this one.
Ah, that looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly in.
Especially on a windy day, this can be difficult because you might want to take a more overstable disc and throw it more to the right, but then things can happen and it can go OB left side. But definitely making sure not to throw an understable disc that just goes straight to the right OB. That was a great shot from Chrissy. And a beautiful line there as well.
Four great drives so far. Let's see how they tackle the green. Nathali with a very ambitious line, I would say. Great shot.
Yeah. And from standstill, I like her form.
Chrissy with the Anheuser gets a little bit stuck on the hillside, but safe is better than sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, whole flight is celebrating that Sophie stayed inbound, giving her a meter.
Yeah, discussing that how to take it. You have to take it perpendicular as long as you're not out of bounds.
Looks a bit like same position as Chrissy.
Yeah.
Bottom of the hill.
It can be a bit deceiving knowing that the right distance to throw. I think, yeah, going a bit further is definitely better, but because it is a tricky green, and of course you'd want to get it closer to the basket, but thankfully it's a par 4.
And I think it's totally fair to play it as a par 4, right?
Yes.
Don't risk too much on your second shot.
Chrissy with the Anheuser approach.
Nice.
Great.
That's great.
Yes. So I think also we didn't see any girl go too long, because this is like what we normally would see. If you overpace a little bit the approach, then your disc will be flying almost directly to the OB on the left side.
Okay, yes.
So,
okay, that's
so I think
true.
this is probably the scheme we are seeing here. They've learned their lessons.
Yeah, I guess you can, yeah, the OB is actually quite close there behind the basket, so.
And I
Yeah.
think Finja's going for it.
Like
Oh,
very strong and lucky.
yes, thankfully that did not roll. Oh no.
Yeah. Very unfortunate.
That hurts. But you can see how easily you can reach the OB on the screen. Nathali is electing to play again from the position. And makes the putt for the double bogey.
This actually brings plays 2, 3, and 4 even closer together.
Oh yes, this is quite a change in assuming they all make their putts. But I guess Sophie's one is without a doubt.
Oh,
Finja, probably having seen what happened shortly before, crossed maybe a little bit her mind.
Yeah, especially being last round. Yeah, things can always get into the head, but good putt there from Chrissy.
Brings up the par, bogey for Finja.
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah, how you doing? There's even no space to mark your line. Well done.
Okay, so now on to hole 6. This is quite the interesting hole. We have a double mando, and you have to also, well, triple mando, I guess. You have to get underneath there as well. And it's 69 meters, so not too far, but the tricky part is getting through that mando.
Yeah, so some women actually not tackle the triple mando, but just laying up. Maybe also Sophie's intention.
Yeah, there's definitely no shame in laying up.
No.
Yeah.
I did it all 3 rounds. Because it's still very hard.
I think Chrissy goes for it.
It looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nice.
Great shot. Yeah.
Finja unfortunately misses the mando. And we already saw there's a drop zone just below the mando.
Oh.
That was close.
Yeah, it's tricky. And yeah, the drop zone is right there in the middle of the poles.
There we can see the bow and arrow targets. Finja with a good forehand approach. Nathali parks it with a backhand hyzer easily.
Beautiful forehand.
And Chrissy, I think it was a run. Finja with a good putt to clean up the bogey. And stress-free par for Sophie.
Yeah, it feels good to get a par on this one.
And on to the next hole we go. It's internally called the two fairways, also the blitz from some players I heard. We have a Mando here, as you can see. We keep our OB theme all around, and we have a very tricky approach to on the second fairway, I would say, to a almost protected basket. The first throw is relatively easy. Basic putter or mid hyzer. You don't want to get too far to the left side because there is OB luring. We made it a little bit wider this year, as you can see. Normally it would be the step in the middle of the screen.
I think that was a very fair adjustment and really helped a lot of players. Because you're in a nice position for a second throw. You don't want to be too close, but rather a bit down on the left for ideal forehand upshot.
Finja going with a zone, I guess. Looks at least like it. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all good landing zones right there. You want to have a position basically like that where they're all landing.
Ooh, a little bit short, but she makes
Yeah.
it to the second fairway. Oh no!
This is not her throw.
Oh.
I think it was just the disc she tried to put to her back. Yes, I guess this would have not been legal. I guess she was tossing it to her back and then stood up and roll, showing how easily you can get a roll here. Yes, that was my fault, I guess.
You spoke too soon.
Yeah, and she's rolling OB, sadly.
Yeah, it gets much tighter there near the basket, so precise shot is what you need. And that was very well executed.
A nice safe approach. I mean, this is also one of the harder holes. You don't want to risk too much here because the price is most of the times too high if you risk too much. So Chrissy with a nice forehand.
And it's
And look who's there.
Oh, Annika lining up a shot in the background.
I think I did not do well for this shot, but it was really fun to play this course for the first time. Coming out from Canada and playing with all you guys was so much fun, but good recovery there.
So in comparison to the big Canadian disc golf scene?
Well, I was actually quite surprised. I thought maybe there wouldn't be very, very many people disc golfing in Germany, but there were quite a few in this tournament, and yeah, it seems like disc golf's definitely a thing in Germany, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Also by the course, could it compare to Canadian?
Oh, definitely. Like, it's such a beautiful course. It definitely can compare to the courses around Canada. Very well maintained, good distance shots, you have to be precise, a lot of variety, so yeah, I would definitely recommend people coming out to this course. It's beautiful.
Well done, Chris. I mean, as a course designer for the Franconia Open, together with Chrissy.
Yeah, I think it's like always a team effort. I mean, like in the end, somebody has to do something, decide something, like presenting hole 8.
Let's come to hole 8. It's a 155 meter par 4. Actually, the women play from a longer tee than the men, but therefore we increased the par by 1. And yeah, you see the slope is still present. It goes parallel to hole 7. And actually, first shot is not that easy. It's also tight OB on the left. But Sophie has a really beautiful first shot.
Yeah, something that you also can't see really on the camera. On the right side, the terrain is like, it's like a 300 feet cliff. So there's basically not much stopping the wind from going through the trees on the right side, so you always have to be careful on this hole. Which we see like perfect shots from all players. Really great. Let's see if Nathali can follow suit.
A bit to the right, but still safe.
But still safe.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, wow. That looked so beautiful. Too bad it got cut up there a little bit in the bushes, but you can see how much...
She's safe.
Oh, she's safe, okay. But yeah, so many branches there on the right side.
Chrissy with the EMAC Truth. Going for something overstable to skip. But
nearly in the circle, maybe?
Wow.
Beautiful.
Parks it directly at the basket. Yay!
Hooray!
We also have to say this was the most beautiful day of the tournament. The other days they were not rainy, but a little bit mist in the air. Always.
Yeah.
I think we didn't have sun before.
No, the sun came out for the last day, and it was gorgeous.
Nathali is safe, but has still some work left. Should be fine. Chrissy outside the circle. You should try.
No.
Off the top.
Luckily it stays.
Yeah.
There's also some rollaway potential on the screen. I guess it's a theme here,
yes.
I would say.
Well, with the slopes, it's definitely inevitable that some disc will just roll.
Finja, unfortunate with the par. Nathali turbos it in for the par. Good save.
Do you notice she always do turbo putting? Does she?
I think only when she's close to the basket.
Close. Okay.
Yeah.
And Sophie with the great birdie. We had 17% birdies on this hole during the tournament in the FPO field.
The second most birdies.
And it was also one of the more popular ones in the Pool B.
Yeah, we did a little survey after the tournament, how popular the holes were.
Alright, so here we are to the last hole on the front nine, hole 9. And this is actually a hole, when this hole was first included in a tournament, was aced by Flo Lingenhell. And wow, that's impressive, because as you can see through this flyover, you really have to either lay it up to this kind of gap here in the middle, and then you have to kick right. So it's definitely not easy, but wow, I wish I could have seen that ace. So impressive.
I think it was a turnover line over the trees on the left side.
Oh, but it was a turnover.
I guess.
Wow, okay.
I think so. Like if you watch the main coverage of the tournament.
Is there?
No, there's no ace, but I would say some men came close for birdie look. So.
Yeah, so I think we take nothing away if we can say this hole was not birdied in the Pool B, because it's like too long and too far uphill to even reach it from the FPO field. So next year there will be a change for the FPO field to make it a bit more attainable, but I think it's still a challenge, because you have OB on all sides, especially the right side is pretty unforgiving. You have to hit a gap playing like 45 degrees uphill. So you see all the girls approaching here. Should be really no nonsense par for most of the players.
Well, yeah, especially from where they all landed. They all had pretty good landing zones there for them from their first drives.
And most of the times you can even attack the basket a little bit from there. Yeah. I think I also never birdied this one, because it's like you have to make a super great shot, or you have, like, if you have a 120-meter forehand, yeah, this is your hole.
Yeah.
Then you maybe can get to
Yes.
circle its one's edge, but
Yeah, it is a tough hole, but definitely an interesting end to the front nine.
yeah, definitely a mental challenge to keep cool.
Yes.
Like, just play the hole as it is. I see the pure concentration here in Finja making the putt.
Great par. Another par. So yeah, Finja is still quite a few strokes ahead of the rest of them, but the other three are in a bit of a battle.
Yeah, we saw Nathali dropping to place 4 and Sophie and Chrissy climbing up. So
Too tight second and fourth. So it will be something interesting happening maybe.
excited for the back nine.
Yes. Yes, see you guys on the back nine. We will be there, hopefully you too.